Man down, man down. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I did a video yesterday, and it says Kell Brook may now stay at welterweight, 147 pounds, possibly to face Errol Spence Jr., who he says is, I quote, in the horizon or on the horizon. Pacquiao Vargas winner is appetizing to him. He said Danny Garcia and Amir Khan. Kell Brook said these things to ESPN. For more on that story, click on that video, and the link to the ESPN article is in that description box. Now, this is something I like about Errol Spence Jr. And no matter what, despite all the hoopla and the Kell Brook got a 60-day extension. I did a video about that as well. Got a 60-day extension, and this is a fight. Look at this video. Kell Brook, Errol Spence, mandatory October deadline. Then somehow October turned into November. Then all of a sudden he gets a 60-day extension. So through this whole process, Errol Spence, to me, has been very patient, looking for his opportunity, his title shot. He's going through the names that he has to in order. I mean, you look at, like, let's say Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, I think on his HBO debut, he called out Floyd Mayweather. He fought a guy named Lara, not Edislandi Lara. It's spelled different. It was a Mexican-American fighter named Lara, I believe. And he called out Floyd. It didn't happen, and he had to go through, people didn't want to fight him necessarily at the time, Keith Thurman. And he had to go through the Julio Diaz's and guys like that before he eventually got Robert Guerrero. And then from that point, it's been on and popping. Guerrero was a sturdy name who had been in there with Orlando Salido, Floyd Mayweather, etc. So we got to see Keith Thurman perform. Errol Spence is waiting for that opportunity. Now, he has had a couple in his last couple of fights, guys like Chris Algieri. You know what I mean? That was a good barometer fight since he had been in there with Pacquiao. Bundu, he did exceptionally better than Keith Thurman in his fight with Bundu. I mean, he laid him out, and it's just, he's been patient waiting for this opportunity. And I like to see that. I like to see the hunger, because the boxing politics, I'm telling you, I know a lot of fighters, and the boxing politics behind things will be easy to discourage you. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm trying to get my shot. Like, I talked to Errol Spence in Vegas, got a couple interviews on the channel with him, and this was at the Charlo brother fight, and he was talking about fighting Jesse Vargas, Kell Brook, which that fight never materialized, but he was talking about fighting them then. Then Kell Brook goes up and fights Golovkin, which was a big mistake, most people thought, and it didn't pay off for him. He got to show spots of success, but ultimately he has an eye injury now. And through it all, Errol Spence Jr. he's staying on track, and I like that. So he posted this. He's sparring with John Jackson, who is obviously the son of Julian Jackson. And for those that don't know Julian Jackson, let me tell you, like, I grew up in boxing, like watching boxing all the time and stuff. Like, the Hawk was a beast. Like, people keep saying and raving about Golovkin power. Golovkin does not have Julian Jackson power. Julian Jackson would spark you, like leave you, the guys look dead, the way their heads were snapping back and stuff like that. And this is the son. Now, John Jackson, he has a couple losses, but he's still, this is good work, because if you see, look at the size difference, and Errol Spence Jr. is pretty big for a welterweight, just like Kell Brook, and John Jackson's bigger. John Jackson has a respectable punch, and he has good experience. You know what I mean? His father's a legend, like I just mentioned. Also, the Andy Lee fight. Now, he came up short. He got stopped in the last round of that, but it was because he did a Pacquiao. And what I mean when I call that is, everyone knows Pacquiao Marquez 4. Pacquiao got overconfident because he had his man hurt, and then he left himself open and ended up getting knocked out. That's what happened to John Jackson versus Andy Lee. Andy Lee got one punch power, you know what I'm saying, if he catches you right with that hook. And Andy Lee was able to put him down, but he had Andy Lee badly hurt. Also, I was at the fight. I covered his fight with the Charlo brother, Jermell Charlo, I believe, and Errol Spence was in the crowd. He was winning the entire fight until he got caught. To me, I thought he was winning like pretty much all the rounds, outboxing Charlo fairly easy. You know what I'm saying? He looked good in there. So this is top shelf, high quality work. And then you see the caption from Errol Spence Jr. You see the caption, solid rounds with John Jackson. Hashtag iron sharpens iron, hashtag man down, hashtag stay ready. So I love this attitude from Errol Spence Jr. Definitely quality work, somebody who's bigger than him. I mean, keep in mind, this is a welterweight fighting a 154 pounder. And again, the 154 pounder has pretty good experience. You're talking about a guy whose dad is a legend. And then also, like I said, Andy Lee and then Charlo brother. That's good. That's good work. So I like that from Errol Spence Jr. And he's trying to stay sharp because he knows that title shot is coming. Now, who is coming against? We don't know. Kell Brook just posted this on his Instagram. He's already back training, and it says back from holiday and straight in the gym. So I love this attitude from Kell Brook. The biggest thing I have with Kell Brook, make a decision. Are you coming back to welterweight? You said you fancy a fight with Canelo and you could never make welterweight. Now you're saying you might want to ESPN. So for the sake of letting things flow, it's just like, and people, all of a sudden, I put people on Kell Brook on my channel and I picked him to beat Sean Porter and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden people say I'm the Kell Brook hater because I want to see Errol Spence Jr. versus Kell Brook, which is ironic enough. But anyway, Kell Brook, I'm not asking anything of him that I have not asked of anybody. I don't like when fighters take decisions and stall them out longer than they need to and create a ripple in the pond that affects other fighters. For example, Tyson Fury, you tested positive twice for cocaine. So if he did not decide and he waited till the whole process until all the sanctioning bodies stripped him, then that's just burned time. That's wasted time. He made the right choice by saying, hey, I got shit to take care of on the back end with my life. I got to get clean and I'm vacating the belt. Makes everything smoother. So that's what I want to see from Kell Brook. Fight Errol Spence Jr. I don't want to hear about Danny Garcia and Pacquiao Vargas winner, Amir Khan. Fight your mandatory like you've been doing. Or say, hey, I'm not competing at 147. Or, hey, I'm vacating, but I'm going to fight Amir Khan. That's going to make him look bad if he vacates the belt and takes a money fight with Amir Khan, even though I wanted to see the Amir Khan fight. So Kell Brook has some big decisions on what he wants to do, and he put himself in the line of fire because he already has a loss, a stoppage loss. So a second loss, like if he would have just fought Amir Khan, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and lost to one of those guys as a first loss, hypothetically, then it's not that bad. But now that you jumped up to middleweight when you had no business being at middleweight, you know what I mean, you psyched yourself up like, oh, okay, I'm a true middleweight, this is my division. I mean, you did good in spots, but ultimately you came up short. And now you have a loss. So now the welterweight has a bunch of killers. You don't want to take another loss. So it's going to be interesting to see what Kell Brook does next. And if he does vacate, it looks like this is the man that's in line. I don't know much about him. Jeff Horn, 15-0, 10 knockouts, 63% knockout ratio, 1 draw. And the best name on his resume is Randall Bailey, who definitely has power. Randall Bailey, if you guys remember his fight with Mike Jones. So let me know what you guys think. I do like what I'm seeing from Errol Spence Jr. staying ready, sparring with 154 pounders. Again, John Jackson, he's definitely a good boxer. He's bigger than Errol Spence Jr. as pictured. Let me know what's going to happen with that IBF belt. Will Errol Spence Jr. get his chance at Kell Brook, or will he be fighting for the vacant strap against the Jeff Horn or somebody, or Konstantin Ponomarev, or whoever it is this week? You let me know. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.